Thanks for inviting us in. It's now 11 o'clock. State lawmakers are trying to untangle tensions between tech and town halls. A bill over at the Indiana State House would require data centers that receive tax breaks to pass along those savings to local communities. Our Alex Almanza joins me in studio tonight. And Alex, as you learned, there's actually a catch here, isn't there?
Yeah, there are several catches, Scott. In House Bill 1333, only data centers that opt into state tax breaks would have to share at least 1% of those savings with local communities. And critics say the bill could also limit public hearings and local pushback. Across Indiana, the battle over land is growing louder. At the State House, that tension is driving House Bill 1333, a proposal that would change where and how large developments can be built. The bill, authored by Republican State Rep Kendall Culp, would allow some agricultural land deemed less productive to be automatically developed without rezoning, and in some cases, without a public hearing.
The top complaint and concern that I get from my constituents on issues is loss of prime farmland. I hear that over and over again. So that's what this addresses, is we're not making it harder to develop prime farmland. We're making it easier to develop the least productive farmland.
Supporters say it protects prime property, but critics say the language could open the door to nearly any development.
I can't imagine that your constituents would want to have a bill that says their planning and zoning doesn't matter. As long as I can get into an ag area and find these soil capabilities, I'm good to go. Nobody can stop me.
Political science professor Laura Wilson says the bill reflects a growing tug of war.
We've seen somewhat of a struggle and a push between the state that generally encourages the development of data centers, but also the local communities that say, not in my backyard.
The bill adds an incentive to local communities. Data centers that use Indiana's tax breaks give back 1% of the taxes they don't pay to local governments.
That would certainly help local governments, especially after Senate Enrolled Act number 1 last year that really lowered the amount of property tax they receive, which is necessary for local governments to fund their services.
Supporters acknowledge the bill needs fixes, saying the Senate is expected to try to address those concerns. Now, the bill passed the House 5642. It now heads to the Senate for first reading and will be referred to the Committee on Utilities.
It is a cold Wednesday night. Already some single digits on the map. It is 5 in Columbus, 6 in Seymour. We're at 10 in Richmond and currently 17 degrees in Indianapolis. Grab the heavy coat out the door for our Thursday. Early morning temperatures in the single digits and teens, and we'll struggle again, only forecasting highs in the 20s tomorrow afternoon. Come tomorrow afternoon, chance of a few flurries and some scattered snow showers. We're not expecting accumulations on Thursday, but that could change on Friday. Some snow showers, some steadier snow for some. May end up with some slick roads, especially in areas north and east of Indianapolis. That timeline and the totals in a few minutes.
All right, Angela, thanks. For the first time since her mother disappeared, Today's Show anchor Savannah Guthrie appeared on social media tonight. She had a message for the person or people who may have taken her mom from her home in Arizona. Tonight, police believe 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie was targeted in a possible kidnapping or abduction. Investigators emphasize they have not identified a suspect or a person of interest in this case. But the Pima County Sheriff acknowledges reports of ransom notes sent to news organizations referencing Nancy Guthrie. So far, no law enforcement agency has substantiated that the notes came from anyone connected to her suspected abduction. Now, Savannah Guthrie, alongside her siblings, is making a plea for their mother's safe return.
We are ready to talk. However, we live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen. Please reach out to us.
Savannah's mom, Nancy, was last seen the night of January 31st at her home outside Tucson. She was reported missing by family the next day. Since then, investigators from local, state, and federal agencies have been involved in the search. Tonight, the FBI is asking for patience as they investigate the disappearance and death of Haley Busby. The 17-year-old disappeared last month from Fishers. Tonight, the FBI is leading this investigation that started here in Indiana and ended tragically across state lines. Police believe Haley was killed at a short-term rental property in Ohio. 39-year-old Tyler Thomas tonight is charged with pandering, obscenity involving a minor, and tampering with evidence. He is not charged with killing her. But investigators say Thomas led them to Haley's remains and then confessed to burying them. They say the two met online. Investigators say this case is complicated and will take time. A statement from the FBI said tonight in part, the investigation is being driven by the pursuit of justice for Haley. Due to the many locations and jurisdictions involved, as well as the ongoing nature of the investigation, there is not a timeline for when more information can be released. This is dependent on where the facts and evidence lead and any resulting charges that may be filed. Thomas is due in court next Tuesday. We're getting new insight tonight on a plea deal in a high-speed crash that killed a recent HSE grad. Court records tonight confirm that 18-year-old Trey Williams is pleading guilty to reckless homicide. 18-year-old Mason Alexander was a passenger in the car when it left the road, hit a tree, and caught fire last March. Alexander died from his injuries. He was a star athlete at Hamilton Southeastern. He had just started his college career at Pitt. Williams is charged with reckless homicide, reckless driving causing bodily injury, and false government identification. Alexander's uncle told us he has seen the plea deal and tells us Williams will receive about a 3-year sentence.
It's a compromise, and that's what we've done. But it's not a compromise at 100%, because again, it'll never be 100%. This young man that took Mason's life, he has a chance to recover, a full chance to recover. Mason will never get that opportunity.
Williams is scheduled to enter that guilty plea at a hearing March 11th. 13 News tried several different avenues to independently obtain that plea agreement, but the Hamilton County prosecutor and the defense attorneys would not release the details just yet. Tonight at 11, we're learning new details about a deadly hit-and-run accident that happened Monday night near 35th and Shadeland. Right now, court documents are now laying out how police tracked down the man suspected of hitting the victim with his car. Police say they found the body of the victim in the road around 8:30 Monday night near 35th and Shadeland. Witnesses told police they saw a white Chrysler leave the scene, believing that was the suspected car. Police said they identified the vehicle and license plate. Detectives then used city surveillance cameras and discovered footage of the Chrysler with significant damage.
These automated license plate readers are so important to not only Indianapolis, but the surrounding donut counties.
According to the probable cause affidavit, police watched footage from other surveillance cameras. At 21st and Shadeland, the Chrysler had 2 functioning headlights, but later footage taken near 38th and Shadeland and 38th and Franklin Road revealed the vehicle only had 1 working headlight and visible right front damage, consistent with a vehicle that had struck a pedestrian. Police say the family of the driver played an important role.
This family has been huge in bringing this case to fruition for this detective, because they urged that family, that individual who's a suspect in this case, to come forward and turn himself in.
According to police, a man confessed that he was driving the car, admitted hitting the victim and fleeing the scene. The driver told detectives he abandoned the Chrysler at a junkyard near 30th and Emerson and removed the license plate. Police say the car had front-end damage, a hole in the windshield, and human hair embedded in the glass. We want to let you know we are not naming the suspected driver tonight until he's formally charged in the case. We're also not identifying the victim until family has been notified. Here's a look at the other stories making headlines right now. A 6th person is now charged in connection to the shooting of a Tippecanoe County judge and his wife. Police in Lafayette arrested 23-year-old Nevaeh Bell. She's now facing multiple counts, including attempted murder, battery, and intimidation. Judge Steve Meyer and his wife were shot last month at their home in Lafayette. It happened just days before one of the suspects was supposed to appear in the judge's court. An Indianapolis man was just sentenced to 35 years in prison for his part in a deadly drive-by shooting in 2024. Tyler Gibson pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. Police say Gibson and 2 others were involved in the shooting that killed Adam Hart. Investigators say the 3 were targeting someone else. Tonight, the president of Indiana University is confirming the death of longtime Indiana politician Lee Hamilton. He was a Democrat who represented Indiana's 9th district in the U.S. House of Representatives. Lee Hamilton was a Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient. Flags have been ordered to half-staff in his honor. Lee Hamilton was 94. Tonight, people in Noblesville have a way to get their medications more affordably. Aspire Indiana Health partnered with and Health to source meds and keep costs down. And while the building serves Aspire patients, the pharmacy is open to the entire community. And tonight we're getting a view from the top of upgrades at the Madam Walker Legacy Center. We got to go to the sky breaking for that rooftop project. That organization announced it got an $8 million endowment last month to support this project. It's all part of a strategic plan expected to be finished by next year. Remember, you can find all of our latest local stories anytime on our 13 News app.